Okay, I got it. What's up, everyone? It's me, Ivan. And yes, we are doing a lot of Attack on Titan content lately, especially because it is my favorite series of all time. Definitely my favorite anime of all time. I don't think there's ever going to be one that will surpass it in terms of like connection and complexity. But I'll be more than happy if one does. With that said, let's talk about the ending. And before I go on, there's going to be massive spoilers. So I wanted to grab a couple of the biggest um, arguments in why the ending sucks, and a lot of people were very disappointed with the ending, especially with the manga. I have seen how a lot of people that are anime only don't understand why people in the manga got so got so angry. And to be honest with you, I can justify a little bit more how people got mad at the ending in the manga. But we're going to be talking about the ending of the anime here. We're not going to be talking about the ending of the manga. We're talking about the anime. And we're going to be talking about some of the major arguments into why the ending sucks and why a lot of people are mad at it. Okay, so with that said, let's get into it. The first and most common argument that I see being thrown around is the fact that Aaron's plan amounted to nothing. Like nothing ever happened. Um, Meaning that as you can see on the ending, Aaron dies obviously, and then we see that eventually Paradise gets blown up, and then we have the little kid walking towards the tree, meaning that the cycle probably is going to repeat itself. And a lot of people say that that means that Aaron's sacrifice was for nothing, like it didn't matter, because at the end of the day people still killed themselves. And that is going to be a very easy one to just explain. And that is the fact that Aaron's goal was never to save the world. I think a lot of people that make this argument do confuse the fact that Aaron's motivation was not the typical shonen hero motivation. Usually in a shonen, you have, I'm gonna save the world, I'm going to protect the little birds, I'm gonna solve global warming or whatever. Here we have Aaron. Aaron's goal from the get go was to protect the people that he cared about the most. We see this very often, um, when he blatantly says, "I care about you the most." If you remember, there's a scene in season 4, part 1, one of those parts, where he's riding on a little train with his friends, and he says that he doesn't want any of them to inherit the founding titan because he cares about them the most, and he wants them to have a happy and long-lasting life. So, did he achieve that? Yes, he did. He evened out the field to where there would be no retaliation against the Eldians, because the population was pretty much leveled. And so a conflict was very 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 likely not going to happen. So Aaron ensured the freedom and a long life to the people he wanted, to the people he cared about. That was his goal. And a lot of people think that what he wanted to do was to just like bring peace to the world and save the island and everything. He didn't necessarily care about the island. He cared about the people living in it. And he's like, "Hey, I know these people. I care about these people. That's where I'm going to focus on." And he did. He accomplished it. But then people are like, "Oh well, at the end of the day, nothing matters because humanity didn't learn, and they found conflict and killed each other again." And yeah, Um, one of the themes of Attack on Titan, if you haven't realized, and they talk about like 2,000 years ago, there was conflict. We're still carrying the sins of that conflict. We're still in conflict. Attack on Titan wants you to understand that these are people and this is humanity. And humanity is just an aggressive, conflicting uh, entity. So, whether you have the powers of the Titans or not, people are still going to find a way to look for conflict. Attack on Titan draws parallels to real life situations. And let's not kid ourselves. Humanity in our world is incredibly divisive, it's incredibly conflicting. So, the point of the story was to also show you that it didn't matter at the end of the day. You can achieve peace for a while. I mean, um, it is said at one point in the story that the only way that humanity would ever achieve peace is if they brought down the number of men to one. That's it. So it just means that yeah, there's going to be conflict, period. And the show does a fantastic job at letting you see that. So when people get frustrated at the fact that oh, Aaron's sacrifice meant nothing. No, it did mean something. He achieved his goal because his goal was to care for the people and give his people a good, long lasting life, which they did. They all lived to see old age. Angie, Sasha didn't. Yes, agree. But even he says that it got to a point where his mind was so messed up that he didn't even know if his friends were going to make it or not. But he had to carry out the plan regardless. Anyways, the next point that I want to bring out that a lot of people do have um, a problem with is the fact that we have um, the love. That's the best way I can put it. Love. Um, and I'm going to tackle a couple of bullet points on this one. A lot of people didn't think that Mikasa ever had romantic feelings for Eren, and vice versa. Other people didn't quite get the fact that Ymir would like break her chains because of Mikasa, and a lot of people didn't like the fact that Ymir was bounded or to creating the Titans and to follow the king's will because of love. So that's what I mean with love. And let me explain it to you. Since season one, it's clear that there's romantic feelings between Eren and Mikasa. Now, a lot of people, and this is one of the biggest things I would say, a lot of people do focus on their own understanding of what love should be like. I I see it all the time that people are very used to love being very explicit, where you really get to see and you really get it's like right there in your face. Hey, these two people are in love. We see it all the time with shoujo's anime or like even sometimes in shonen animes or like little slices of life. It's very evident that the characters like each other. Attack on Titan is not like that. Attack on Titan is it's a story where the characters are very human, incredibly. And there's a lot of times where if you've ever been in love, sometimes you're trying to hide it. You're trying to play it cool. Sometimes you don't even want to tell it to your best friend. Sometimes you act differently according to the situations. Now, let's dive into it. Mikasa and Eren always had romantic feelings for each other. They were in a world where love was not necessarily going to be a priority because Eren's drive was revenge. And he was so driven to that. But we do get to see how he does care for Mikasa a lot. The most blatant part of it is when Mikasa kind of confesses her love to him in season two, saying like, just I was so happy when you wrapped this scarf around me, and let's stay this way. And she was approaching him to give a little smooch, to give a little kiss, and he says, you know what? No, I'm not going to let you die right here. And he says, I'm going to wrap the scarf around you as many times as needed. Meaning, like, hey, I'm here with you. I'm here for you. I know what you're trying to say to me. And this is my way of saying it back, because Eren is not necessarily a very articulate person. But he's like, I'm going to protect you. And he does protect her. So, so we have hints, and we have like good evidence to see. And then let's go into Ymir, because a lot of people are like, Ymir's love and how did she connect to Mikasa and shit like that. Okay, well, let's remember also the fact that in our world there's something called toxic relationships. And Ymir was in this insanely toxic loop, this vicious cycle of like what people call Stockholm syndrome, or just traumatic, um, just trauma. You know, how many times have you been in a relationship, or just broke up with someone, and the things that you do and the way you act is a little bit different because you have this like voice inside your head that, oh, this person wouldn't like that, and you want them back, or you want them to like you again, or stuff like that. And then you modify certain actions. Eventually you let go and you grow from it. But here we have a very blatant case of someone that was completely a slave to this feeling because of her childhood, call it whatever you want to. But at the end of the day, you had Ymir just completely toxically obsessed with just that little hint of happiness that was the only happiness she had through her entire life. So that was her motivation. That's it. Are we saying that that's good uh a good love, that should be like a role model of love for generations to come? No, the story says it, so it's not. It should never be this way, but that's the way she is. Again, let's not put everything into a black and white situation. These are human characters at the end of the day. So the way Ymir connected to Mikasa was to see that she was also loving someone that was insanely toxic, pretty much. But Mikasa, even with all that love, she did what she needed to do. And she did it through care and love. She did not kill Eren because she hated him or out of revenge, but also she did it because she loved him too. And he wanted to be free. And he, like, what she did was an act of love. When Ymir sacrificed her life to protect King Fritz, that was not an act of love. It she thought it was, but it was more an act of that obsession, of that insecurity. And she realizes she should have protected her children because she loved them. So she got to understand kind of what love really is. So she was able to let go of those chains, those toxic chains, those toxic feelings. You know what I mean? So it's more proof to the mastery of this story, how there's so many layers to to the characters, because at the end of the day we interpret things differently than other people. For what I think love is, it's different to another person. So I'm giving you my perspective on this. So anyways, let's go to the last and most common argument on why the ending sucks, and that is Eren breaking down. Eren crying to Armin. And a lot of people call it the character betrayal of Eren. Eren would never do that. Aaron would never break down like that. Didn't you see? He was a cold, calculating mass murderer. Yes, being a cold hearted mass murderer psychopath was completely a character betrayal of Eren. For 3 seasons, we got to see Eren as a hot headed, emotional idiot, and every single character says it so. He is never cold, collected, calm, serene, smart. He's always been cold, hot headed, suicidal maniac, stubborn, emotional. Like how many times Levi has to tell him, stop crying, stop yelling. A lot of even freaking Mikasa in the first episodes has to punch him because he's just going off. And she's like, eat this bread right now. You need your strength. Shut up. Like, grow up a little bit. So Aaron has always been that. And it's fitting to the story that the character that preached freedom the most was the one less free. He was always attached to himself, to his personality. Everyone else in the story goes through a character arc. He is the one that remains technically the same. He's chained by himself in that way. So here we have Eren playing a facade during season 4 because he knows what he needs to do in order to give the people that he loves a good outcome. So you have Eren playing this character to alienate his friends so they will have the motivation and they will not have the second guessing when it comes to killing him. He knows what he needs to do. He needs to act cold. He needs to make them angry. He needs to make them think that he is the devil incarnate in order for them to go through with the plan. Because you see through the entire season 4 how his friends are very doubtful of actually wanting to go and kill him. They try every single possible thing. Even after seeing that this guy is Satan himself, they're still trying to like figure out, can we talk to him? Can we get him back into his senses? So you can see that if Eren had shown any sort of like sympathy or remorse or anything, they would have never killed him. They would have never gone and attacked him because they would have known, no, our feelings will not allow us. And clearly, this is Eren. Clearly, he's playing a character. So let's help him out. But he had to suffer every single year playing this evil ass character. That was the character betrayal. But people like to identify with him because it was, oh, he's cool now. He was a little screaming bitch for the first 3 seasons, but he is cool. So I would rather root for this Eren than the actual Eren. But when Armin calls him out on his shit, which is super funny in the scene when Armin and Eren are talking, Armin asks him, "Do you think Mikasa is actually going to forgive you like that? Like it's going to be that easy?" He's still playing that cool, collected character through the entire conversation because he's just being calm, talking about all of this. And his response is, don't know. Like he literally says that, don't know. That's when Armin punches him and calls him out. Says, hey, dude, don't give me this. Don't give me that shit. Tell me how you really feel. And that's when Eren breaks down and exposes himself. That sounded wrong. He exposes how he truly feels. He starts crying and he says, no, I don't want her to like want anyone. I want her to want me forever and ever and never. Like, yes, do I want her to be happy? Yes, of course I do. But I wish it was with me. I wish it was me being with you guys right now. I wish it was me having the happy life with you guys. Like, how many times after a breakup, or like you've had a moment where you just like selfishly say, "Yeah, I want everyone to like me. I want this girl to want me, and that's it." Like, whether it's realistic or not, it doesn't matter. That's how you truly feel inside. And that's how actually Aaron felt. Like, he does say, I know there's no way, and I don't want you to tell Mikasa about this, because otherwise she's not going to be able to move on. But that's how I truly feel. I want her to want me for the rest of her life. Uh, because that's what I want. That's what me, Aaron, selfishly wants. So, yeah, I'm breaking down right now. I'm breaking down in front of my friend. And that's when finally we get to see Aaron back. And a lot of people did have a problem with this because they thought that cool Aaron just started being a beta male, which is just such a stupid sentence. Oh, Aaron became a beta. No, you clearly just didn't understand his character, and you clearly just want a cool, like cold hearted Chad to root for, because those are cool and it is more simple to understand those characters and to be edgy and say, yeah, let the darkness ruin, you know, the light. Yeah, I understand that. And I think it's a very superficial way of looking at it. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it, but I do have a problem when people say that this is a way for Aaron to have his entire character ruined, because objectively speaking it's not. If you don't like it, that's a thing. But if you say that it's bad writing or it's a character assassination, I can objectively say you are wrong. Like, you can still have your opinion, but it's a wrong opinion at the end of the day. So, anyways, those are the three major ones. Obviously, there's more. There's a shit ton more. And but it's already been 22 minutes and I've done this in one go. And I'm just talking about three. So if you want me to continue with this and you have other like arguments or other points, whether you believe them yourself or you have a doubt or a question, put it on the comments down below and I'll do another video of this. But in the meantime, thank you. Like and subscribe and do all that jazz. Bye.